Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about slow code reviews and why I find them so annoying. So let's get into it. Now for the juniors out there, a code review is simply, well, you may have them and you may not have them, but I urge you, if you don't have them, you should have them. Basically all it is that you have made some changes. You've written some code and now you need somebody to just look it over and check that it's good. That's it. And this is useful for a few reasons. The primary one is that you are not flawless, my friend. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but you are not perfect. So it's very healthy for you to have somebody else look at your work and say, hey, this is good, this is not so good. And apart from that, it also spreads knowledge about the stuff that you are working on, which is very healthy, because one of the biggest problems with having isolated programmers that don't work as a team is that as you work, you will know your stuff and your coworker will know his or her stuff. That's a problem for the company, because if any of you are sick, the other one doesn't know what to do. So it's very healthy to share that knowledge through a code review. But what's the issue with the slow one? Why is that an issue? Well, you see, depending on your work style, I can tell you that what usually happens is that you pick a story or something of that, a workload, start working, you implement everything, it's nice and tidy, or ish, and you ask for a code review. And then you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And you wait, and you wait. And depending on how long you wait, you may find yourself facing one of two options. Now, either you have to sit there and wait, or talk to a coworker and hope that they have time to do your code review so that you can progress to the next stage. Because remember, you have to have the code review in order for you to be allowed to merge and progress with the story and finish the job, basically. So that's one option. But if that's not happening, then you will have to pick up another story. You have to start working on something different until the code review is done. Now, if you're lucky, you start working and everything is perfect. Everything is flawless. And all the testing and everything that happens after the code review just is smooth, because you're just that good. Pat yourself on the back. But on the off chance that you are not flawless, I know, it's scary, it's a scary thought, but on the off chance that this is the case, you will get your story back to you with some comments that you have to fix. Now, depending on how long you've had to wait and how far you've progressed on story number 2 that you already started on, you are now in a lockdown situation. What has happened is that you now sit on 2 pieces of work at the same time, but you can only work on one thing at a time. That's a problem, because what if you have a sharp deadline and you are a third into working on story number 2, and that's a really critical story, and when you finally get your code review back to you and you have to start working on fixing the stuff that you got back as feedback, well, maybe one of your coworkers is now unblocked and is supposed to start working on something. But the problem is that you have already locked that story. That person can no longer take that story because you're sitting on it. This is not your fault. This is why I tell people that code reviews, and if you're gonna have them, make sure that you prioritize them as highly as coding itself, because you are blocking other people. Your coworkers are waiting for you to give your seal of approval on their software so that they can finish their work and start working on the next thing. Now, apart from that, having multiple stories at the same time brings you to another issue, which is called context switching. Context switching is the main reason, at least for me, as to why I mess up stuff. Hands down, apart from being completely incompetent, of course, but that's another story. But when you have more than one thing, and worse, like maybe you have 3 things at the same time that you have to consider and work on, you have this switching where, all right, you're working on story number 1, and then something comes along in story number 2. You have to go over to switch mindset now and start thinking about, all right, what was the specifications in story number 2? You have all these parallel things going on at the same time, which makes it very tricky to produce quality work. And all of it can be avoided if somebody would just make sure to do your code review when you ask for it. It is that simple, I swear to you. So, to summarize the learnings, or hopefully the thing that I want you to take away from this little rant of mine, is that if you are in a position at a job where you do code reviews, be the person who's always picking up the code review. If it's not yours, do it for somebody else. Do them that favor, because you don't want them to get in that situation. Trust me, the software will get worse the worse you guys are at being proactive about code reviews. It will get worse, trust me. And make sure that you're pushing the idea that if you're going to do code reviews, treat them as highly, or respect them as much as writing software, because at the end of the day, both needs to happen in order for the work to be done. Have a great day.